When playing Jhin, if you trigger the collector will cause the damage indicator to display 4444 instead of 9999. A pretty cool little Easter egg. Okay, this is actually really cool. Did you know that the notes that you can see in KDA Seraphine's ultimate skin when she uses her E is actually real sheet music? This person took the image from her ult and made it actually legible and playable. It's believed that the music from her superstar skin was actually the first notes from More. And the sheet music from her second skin, Rising Star, seems to be from her solo in More. And lastly, her indie one is actually unknown, so maybe one of you guys will be able to figure it out. This is a League app called Professor that allows you to see some really cool data about your account, like each of your win rates for each of the roles and modes. It gets super specific too. It also lets you know some interesting facts about yourself, some that I really didn't need to know, like apparently my third match win rate plummets by 14%. Sick. It even has a whole page dedicated to your stats. This app also has an entire page dedicated to finding friends to play with, which is actually sick. You can filter through them and see people's ranks, roles, champions, along with what they like to play and just a note about themselves. What's also really cool about this app, Professor, is that it has a ton of in-game perks too. For example, it'll even show you live in-game stats about your gameplay. It'll import runes automatically for you. It'll show you the best pro builds available. It has a summoner spell timer, and you can even scout opponents in norms and flex. This is easily one of my favorite apps out there, so make sure to try it out for yourself using my link below. And thank you, Professor, for sponsoring today's video. Did you know that Korea has 22.2 million League of Legends players and 4.2 million of those people play rank? However, the NA server has 33 million players, but only 1.9 million of those people play ranked. It kind of puts things into perspective on why the LCK dominates NA. And well, to be fair to us, they also dominate everyone else too. Get controlled. Yeah, that guy who doesn't use a keyboard and has 18 million mastery points on Heimerdinger is no longer the player with the highest mastery points in the game. Instead, that title now belongs to a player named Gam Blurko from the EUNE server. Gam has 21,534,666 million mastery points, 1.5 million more than Get Controlled. The champion of his he has the most mastery points on is Mordekaiser at almost 3.5 million, and the champion he has the least with is Belveth with only 156. That's a lot of League of Legends though. Congratulations, I think. Also, in case you were wondering, Gam Blurko is currently ranked Gold 1. This person made a 3D drawing of Teemo, and as much as I hate Teemo, I have to say this is pretty sick. I used to be obsessed with these kind of 3D drawings when I was younger, so this is actually really cool to see. At the end of the preseason 2023 spotlight, Heimerdinger was sitting with the 3 new jungle pets as a reference to Pokemon and choosing your starter Pokemon. Honestly, a pretty wholesome little touch. Good job, Riot. Okay, so this is a pretty crazy story that you may or may not have heard of already, but either way, I'll keep it brief. Do you know how people like to tag pro players on Twitter during or after big games, or even just in general, just to like reference them or something they did? Well, that experience was no different with Perks, especially when he was on G2 and Cloud9, but what was different is back then, Perks didn't have the Twitter handle @Perks. Instead, a mother named Emily Perkins from a small English city did. And as Perks was getting more and more attention on the pro scene and more people started tagging @Perks thinking it was him, eventually Emily was like, this is crazy, why are so many random people tagging me, and started responding back to some of the tweets saying, I think you got the wrong guy. And eventually some people in the League of Legends community started retweeting her responses. And because of those retweets, her situation started getting a ton of attention, and people from all over were trying to explain to Emily what was happening. Keep in mind too though that Emily had no idea what esports was at all at the time and had no clue what League of Legends even was. However, because of all the attention, she started watching some of the C9 matches, and people also discovered that she had a guinea pig named Fudge, who of course also just so happened to be another League player on Cloud9. So after the League community heard about that, things really took off, memes started really pouring out, and even the casters had to get on some of the action.
And no, I'm not talking about the C9 Perks that y'all know and love. I'm talking about Perks, who is, by her own description, just some woman in Leicester who got pulled into the hype today.
Eventually, Emily Perkins even started playing League of Legends herself, and not only that, but Cloud9 even signed her, and she's still involved in the League scene to this day. Now she's even running an esports club at the school she teaches at, and when I say club, I mean club. I mean, holy crap, look at this thing. I want to go to the school now. Anyways, in the end, she even let Perks have the Twitter handle @Perks, and she actually ended up taking the handle he had at C9 perks. Overall, a pretty crazy story. Also, random note, she posted this tweet about Yumi a while back thinking that the person who was playing Yumi on her was griefing because they weren't moving, and everyone kind of got a kick out of it. Classic Yumi players though. This is why you should apparently never panic when you're getting collapsed, because if you don't, I guess this happens. The craziest thing about this is that it's kind of hard to tell if this is Iron Elo or Challenger Elo. It's one of those rare clips that could literally be either one. When Worlds was still taking place, apparently Deft created a custom lobby with a password with 9 bots and left it going all day to make it seem like DRX was screaming 24/7 leading up to the finals. Honestly, that's pretty freaking hilarious if people actually fell for it. A big brain strategy for sure. Did you know that way back in the day, like 11 years ago, Pantheon and Twisted Fate's ultimate were actually full-on global abilities, meaning that they could literally teleport anywhere on the map. This of course includes the back of their base. And if you're not catching my drift, that's exactly what happened in this old clip. Basically, their entire team teleported on a ward and TF and Pantheon just ulted in to end the game. What's also kind of interesting here is how much damage they did to turrets back then without any minions. Honestly, it'd be pretty fun if you could still do this stuff today, but I understand why you can't. When it came to the Soul Hunter Kayn skin, there was a big mix-up when it came to the translation of the skin's name into Russian. You see, the skin itself was actually changed from Soul Stealer to Soul Hunter, and because of that, it had to be retranslated across all languages. However, the translator for Russia only changed a portion of the name, and because the Russian language can be very specific when it comes to conjugations, the smallest change can completely change its meaning. Anyways, because of this, what eventually happened was Soul Hunter Kayn got unintentionally translated to Shower Hunter Kayn. And by the time they realized the mistake, it was already too late and it was about to be shipped out to the players. So instead, Riot's Russian team just held a meme contest awarding the winner the champion Kayn as well as the new skin. And this was the winning meme. So now Soul Hunter Kayn is referred to as Shower Hunter Kayn on the Russian server. Yo, if you're enjoying, please consider subscribing, and here's a puppy. Thanks guys. Did you know that one of the ideas for Samir's ultimate was for her to have the ability to do 10% max health as true damage for each style grade she had all the way up to 70%. I'm not sure if this would have been worse or better than it is now, but against tanks, this thing would have massacred people. Did you know that the turret vision range is 1200, but the turret attacking range is actually 1250? This becomes even more apparent in this clip where Caitlyn got killed by the Fountain when ulting because her ultimate gave the turret the extra 50 vision it needed to start attacking her. In other words, next time you see your friends chilling right next to the Fountain thinking they're safe, just ult as Caitlyn and you might be able to kill them. Did you know that Jax only has 3 fingers? Because honestly, I'd never noticed that before. A couple months ago, I did a poll asking you guys how much you have spent on League, and here were the results. Just less than 50% of you have spent under $100. 29% of you have spent $100 to $500. 11% of you have spent $500 to $1,000. 5% of you have spent $1,000 to $1,500, and 8% of you have surprisingly spent over $1,500. That's kind of insane when you think about it. Lulu was originally going to be called Wyna the Supportal, but they ended up changing it because they thought it was too hard for some people to pronounce. We could have had the Supportal Yordle. This guy made his own version of Kassadin's E and used Blender and Krita to make it happen, but it looks like it was quite the process to make it. Still though, it was definitely worth it for the end result. Seriously, really cool animation. Aatrox has a unique voice line when he encounters Malphite for the first time where he says,
"Where is your head, Rothing? Where is the neck I shall sever?"
Kinda rude, honestly. So this is an interesting one. Apparently Poppy's knockup on her ultimate has been bugged since patch 12.8, and this guy Classic did some digging on it. Apparently the knockup on her ultimate was supposed to be increased to 1 second from 0.75 seconds, but it was discovered that not only does Poppy not knock them up for 1 second, but she doesn't even do it for the 0.75 seconds. This guy even tested this over and over again to confirm this was true, and he even pointed out that Poppy's Q takes 1 second to detonate. So if the knockup on the ult isn't actually 1 second, then Poppy's QR combo isn't actually a guaranteed combo. Kinda makes you think what other small changes are out there that were promised but were never actually added. This guy's girlfriend made a League prom poster saying, "Will you be my date to prom?" And apparently she doesn't even play League. Definitely a keeper, this one. Did you know that Aurelion Sol's personality was heavily inspired by David Bowie?
David Bowie was one of our biggest sources of personality reference early on. We wanted that big, really out there, kind of arrogant but pulls it off charming personality.
Okay, this next one is kind of not safe for work-ish, so skip now or forever hold your peace. But this is a chart showing the most searched video games on OrnDub. That may or may not be the actual real name of the site. Anyways, as you can see, League of Legends comes in at a whopping 8th place, which is kind of shocking. To be honest, I thought it'd be higher. Like, for some reason, Minecraft is 4, which I don't exactly understand. I guess it's not really fair, though, because everything's already bricked up over there. I need to stop. But seriously, this is a weird chart, man. Like, why is Among Us or Cuphead on here? People are crazy. On a similar note, though, this is a list of the top video game characters searched, and for some reason, Tristana is number 20. Like, you guys are actually wild. I guess at least it's not Poppy, though. I don't think I could handle hearing the voice line just to yordle with the hammer the same way ever again. But honestly, Tristana's not much better.
Is that a rocket in your pocket?
Spoilers, it wasn't a rocket. Ryder Fucks, a game designer at Riot, did so bad on Rise, dying an average of 10 times a game, that he actually got temporarily suspended. He apparently just unbanned himself the next day, which I don't know if it's 100% true or not, but I don't see why he wouldn't since he can. Guys, our whole life is a lie. This is actually what happens when Baron spawns and what it looks like without ground. Who knew that the first Baron was just a paid actor the entire time? Like, this is game-changing stuff. In case you didn't know, this picture of T1 and Faker won the esports photograph of the year, and honestly, rightfully so. There's just so much history in this photo, and it just shows how much Faker has grown because he literally was in Kiara's position before. There was even someone that edited Faker in his place, which I mean, just look at it. I think it speaks for itself. If you're curious how big League of Legends really is in Korea, well, this will probably give you some perspective. The South Korean soccer team for the World Cup held this flag up after beating Portugal, and on the bottom of it, they wrote Def's quote, "The important thing is the unbreakable spirit." And this was even confirmed by Ashley Khan. If you haven't heard yet, London is going to be hosting MSI 2023, which is going to be its first time UK has ever hosted the MSI League event. And as for Worlds, it's going to be held in South Korea. There was a VTuber on the Japanese server named Mito King who managed to hit probably the lowest rank out of everyone in League of Legends, or at least very close to it. After doing her placement games, she was awarded or given, I don't know if you can really call it awarded, Iron 4, and then she dodged a few games after and managed to hit negative 13 LP. Honestly, kind of impressive. But with plays and moves like this, she'll be out of the hole in no time. Did you know that Faker has gotten first place in groups every single time he's gone to Worlds, which is kind of insane to think about, including this year, that's 7 years where he placed first in the group stage. There was a glitch about a month ago now that allowed Nico to change into turrets and jungle camps. Honestly, I don't even know how this kind of a glitch happens. I'd love to hear the explanation behind like the code and stuff, but what's really crazy is that she could even one-shot people. So the other day I met a guy in my game who watches my videos, and he made sure to let me know that he watches my videos during his morning relief session, and that I should be honored to feel selected for the P Video Club. First off, I don't really know how to feel about that, and second off, 10 minutes is a long time to pee. Something might be up there. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to poke that sub button, send any info you got to outsidejokelol@gmail.com, and happy holidays everyone. A massive shout out to my tier 3 patrons Stefan Noctek and James, and a huge shout out to my tier 4 patron Set Right, and thank you guys so freaking much. All my other incredible patrons, you are all amazing. Thank you guys. Bye.